Hello everyone, welcome into Above My Pay Grade. My name is Eric. Thanks for tuning in. If you could hit that like, hit subscribe, be much appreciated. Sitting here in the airport waiting to go home. A hell of a long layover here. And I was reading the news, and not surprisingly, California is leading the charge once again in stupid economic policies. For starters, you guys may have read that they want to do away with electric vehicles by 2035. However, electric vehicles rely on electricity, which they don't have abundance of in California because their electric grid is green energy. So they're having brownouts, blackouts in California. They're being told not to use tons of energy this summer. And if nothing else, this just goes to show you, honestly, I don't think most people vote or care about politics until it affects their back pocket. So you have these super woke people who are like, we want green energy, yay! Not thinking about the second and third order effects. And since they're rich, if gas goes up, or if it doubles, doesn't really affect them that much. But the poor, who they claim to care about, it's affecting them a great deal because they do not have a lot of wiggle room in their budget. Additionally, old Mussolini over there is also implementing higher minimum wage. Higher minimum wage. So he wants to implement $22 an hour minimum in California. And so people who maybe are for raising the minimum wage, I always like to ask them, why don't you want to make it $100 an hour? And they might say, that's a little too steep, don't you think? Some lawyers make $100 an hour and doctors make $100 an hour. So we'll make it 22. But the question is, who should be deciding this? And what's wrong with $100 an hour? And the real problem is, maybe it's subconscious and they don't realize it, but the real problem is the food price would go up. They realize if they have to pay employees $100 an hour, your burger would cost $25, $30. The same thing happens at $22 an hour. Because if you look at margins, if you look at the restaurant industry and the profit margin that they make, and here's a little diagram from the Small Business Administration, they don't make a ton of profit. Their margins are 6 to 9%. It's a tough business to get into. And so if your margins are 6 to 9%, what happens when part of your biggest expense, if you see that pie chart, the biggest expense, one of them, is labor? What happens when that goes up? It is not cosmic stuff. But just like with the woohoo bat flu, people were like, you gotta do something. It's becoming unaffordable to live in California. You gotta do something. And so Gavin Newsom, in infinite wisdom, is just gonna raise minimum wage, forcing businesses out of California. Because if you cannot make a profit, you're not in the business of charity. You're in the business of making a profit. That is what business is. And so if they can't make a profit, they're gonna leave. Just like a ton of the big businesses are leaving. To add insult to injury, this is probably the most fascinating one. In 2024, they're voting to open hotel rooms to the homeless. So hotels are going to have to report to some bureaucrat at 2 p.m. every day and say, we have this many rooms that are still available. So you'll go down to the lobby, get a drink, and next to you is a guy who hasn't showered in 10 days and is high on some kind of drug. Now, not to say that these people don't deserve respect, don't deserve some kind of care and feeding, but when it comes to a business and the state forcing the business to do the care and feeding, that is the problem I have with it. On top of the fact that people are paying the money they make to go to said hotel for an experience, more than likely. That experience is going to be much different if it has a ton of homeless people inside. And you may say that's heartless or what have you. If you say that, I hope you have a homeless person living in your house right now, because that is somebody's business that they are running. If the government came to your house and forced you to open it to the homeless, I don't think you would be too keen on that. So, California just continues to rub salt in the wound, essentially saying anybody who pays taxes here is going to pay for our liberal agenda and F you and leave. And this is a state that is flat broke, that offers massive pensions, and they can't afford to lose businesses. And guess what's going to happen? They're going to lose businesses. That's what's going to happen. It doesn't happen overnight, but over the next decade, if this stuff continues, it's just like this come to Jesus meeting that the voters have. They realize their tax base is gone, and they keep raising the cost of living in California. People leave because their quality of life sucks that bad. Even though California is a beautiful place, beautiful weather, all that kind of stuff, they can't afford to feed their family. People leave. And they have that choice in the United States, which is a good thing. If any of you guys live in California, let me know what you think about this kind of stuff. It's just amazing. Just when you think you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this. California. Love it. All right, guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.